And at number 4, we have The Dark Knight. This movie is my favorite superhero movie, and of course, my fourth favorite movie. I was blown away by this. I mean, Batman Begins was very good, but I just felt like it could have been better. Like, it could have had some improvements, and this just had all those improvements. I mean, it blew me away. Heath Ledger in particular, he did a phenomenal job. He deserved that Oscar. Those people who say he got it because he died, watch the movie and you will see why you are wrong. I am also a huge fan of Batman, as some of you may know, and so yeah, it's comic book fans' dream. I mean, I haven't read a comic book in a while, but moving on. The soundtrack is just so well done. Hans Zimmer is probably one of my favorites. And just the costume design, and how they shot in different locations from Chicago and New York, and so that you couldn't really tell the difference. It's a good job. But, I mean, just well done. Even my dad agrees this is a well done film. And just that the writing is very good, especially for a comic book film. It's unlike any other comic book film I've ever seen. I mean, it's very different from other comic book films because it tries to go how realistic a comic book movie can really be. And I like how it went for that approach. Because normally people don't associate realism with a superhero movie, but this dared to go there. And that's one of the reasons why I love this movie. So you should all go see it if you haven't. And number 3, we have Good Will Hunting. The reason why I really like this movie, at first I thought it was a comedy or something because I heard Robin Williams was in it. I thought it'd be funny. Plus, he's one of my favorite comedians. And I was wrong. It's a drama with a good meaning and soul. It really made me feel good, and it kind of made me this movie really makes you think, especially about like life and your future. And what's amazing is that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck came out of nowhere, and when they wrote this script, and then I got it turned into a movie, and then get some good actors and actresses in it. Overall, it's a phenomenal movie that really makes you think about life. And so, yeah, I mean, the story is good, and it did make me think about life and about the Will Hunting, who doesn't know. I'm not gonna just go see the movie. And then the acting is good. There's some funny parts too, and the meaning of it, just overall what it's about, and that how everything has an impact on it is very good. And Robin Williams it's one of his few serious roles in, which is surprising because usually he's a funny guy, a very funny guy, and yeah, he deserved the Oscar that he got for this, which is why it is one of my favorite movies of all time that you all need to see. Number 2, we have Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, I love this. This is a movie that I will always love. Originally, I liked Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade better than this one, but it wasn't until they re-released it back in the theaters and I saw it with my dad when I realized how good this was. I mean, people grew up watching this stuff like my dad did. I mean, even people dressed up in the theater. I mean, it's a fun movie with a great action experience and has one of the greatest characters ever put into cinema. Greatest action heroes, that is. And it's just the directing by Steven Spielberg. In fact, some people consider this to be Steven Spielberg's best film. Overall, it's a film you must see. It's just great. And the soundtrack, also by John Williams, he's John Williams. He's probably my favorite composer. In fact, I have every Indiana Jones movie, I have that soundtrack on my iPod. I'm such a nerd. But yeah, I mean, John Williams, who doesn't? Everyone knows this. Everyone knows da 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 da. Everyone knows that theme. That is one of the movie themes that everyone knows. I say that and the Godfather theme are probably some of the most well-known movie themes ever. That and Jaws. But moving on. Again, this movie, the acting was very good. I personally think Harrison Ford was better than he ever was in Star Wars. And I think this will always be his best role he's played as Indiana Jones. And George Lucas is probably his best film he's worked on. That and Star Wars. So, I mean, George Lucas, I salute you, you're a very creative man. And Steven Spielberg, thank you for directing this. And Steven Spielberg is my idol because of this. And number one, The Shawshank Redemption. I think this might always be my favorite movie. Let me just say the story pulls you in. Acting is perfection. Directing, perfection. Costume design, like, it really looks like prison outfits. And then the set design was really like a prison. I mean, then again, they might have actually filmed at a real prison, but I'm not sure. And just the story, literally, I mean, literally every subplot of the film comes into, like, the main plot. I mean, every subplot. I'm not gonna, like, spoil it because this movie's too good to spoil. I mean, it's just the perfect film. The acting, the costume design. This is Morgan Freeman. Yeah, excuse me. Morgan Freeman even said that this was his favorite role he's played, and I believe Tim Robbins said the same. Just, this movie is absolute perfection. The first time I saw this, it was only the ending, and I didn't know what was going on. Then my dad explained it. When I saw the whole thing, I thought it was amazing. Saw it a few more times. Now it's my favorite movie, and I think it might always be. This movie is an achievement in cinema. Just overall, Empire Magazine, of their 500 greatest films of all time, this was voted number 4. Number 4. AMC even voted this there to say that this was the greatest film of the 20th century. And I agree with that. This film is a masterpiece above all others. This movie that if you have not seen it, you must see it as soon as possible. This movie is amazing.